Pastor Julian here with Central's devotion for today. I hope you're doing well. As we continue along with this theme of life with Him, that you live intimately with Jesus every moment of every day, we have this great sermon series that's going to be going through Memorial Day. And last week I preached on life with Him, and meaning life with Jesus, life with God. And towards the end of the sermon, I read a passage from Ephesians chapter 3. I'm going to read part of that that section that I read for the message, and that's going to be our devotion for today. So we're going to look at Ephesians chapter 3, verses 14 to 19. And I'm going to read it through once, and then I'm going to read it through again and stop a little bit so I can explain and emphasize certain things. This is what the Apostle Paul writes. Now, keep in mind that this is a prayer that the Apostle Paul is praying. This is what he says. For this reason, I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and earth is named, that according to the riches of his glory, he may grant you to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may have strength to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. So as we read through this, the Apostle Paul begins by saying, for this reason, I bow my knees before the Father. This is how many prayed throughout the Old Testament, and in the New Testament we see people also getting on their knees to pray to God. This is a sign of humility and desperation and reverence to God, to get on your knees to pray. And I know I have bad knees. But I will pray off of my knees, on my knees. I pray all different ways. But I know when I'm really desperate, and also when I'm praying really hard, I will get on my knees. So I encourage you to if you don't ever, to sometimes get on your knees. I know some of you might be older. It's hard to get down, hard to get up. You can get bursitis on your knees and whatever. But get a pillow, whatever you might need to do if you are able to. Take time to get down on your knees to pray sometimes. From whom every family in heaven and earth is named. Here the Apostle Paul is saying that if you are named after Jesus, after God, that every family in heaven and earth is named. It's connecting those who are believers on earth with those who are in heaven together in the same family. Those who have gone on before us are together with those who are still here on earth. That according to the riches of his glory, he may grant you to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in your inner being. So that according to the riches of his glory, God is given according to his riches. He is giving you according to his riches. The Apostle Paul is urging God to give according to his riches. And we know that that's how God gives. God is the richest. And when he gives according to his riches, that gift is abundant. Somebody who is wealthy shouldn't be giving as someone who is poor would give. Someone who is wealthy should be giving a lot out of their wealth, not minuscule amounts. So here we have God the Father giving according to his abundant riches. And so that he may grant you to be strengthened in your inner being. Your inner being is just as important as your outer being. Your inner being is strengthened through God, through your connection of being with him, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. It is through your faith that Christ comes and dwells with you in your hearts, your solid commitment and faith in him, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, rooted and grounded in the love of Christ that he shares with you, that love that was demonstrated to you on the cross, that he would take your punishment and your shame and your burdens upon him, that he loved you that much, and that the Father loved you that much, that he would sacrifice the Son in order that your burdens may be lifted. May have strength to comprehend with all of the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth. So here are measurements, length and height and depth, that you may understand it, which you're not, because his love abounds, it expands infinitely, to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge. So all of that measurement, you try and measure it, it surpasses your knowledge and your understanding, that you may be filled with the fullness of God, that you may be filled with the fullness of God. You are going to be filled to your limit with the love and grace of God, living with him. So let me encourage you to live with him every moment of every day. Give him your full faith and commitment. Don't spend a minute of your time without Jesus. God bless you and have a great day.